DeSean Jackson. I don't know. What team do you most associate with DeSean? Eagles?
Yeah, man, you got to say the Eagles. When you say DeSean Jackson, you got to say that Philly green, man. Eagles fly, Eagles fly.
Yeah, I like them a lot this season. I'm bullish on them. But let me start with the quarterback thing. So here's the quarterbacks you played for. Stafford, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Foles, and Derek Carr. I would ask you to rank them, but I don't want.
You forgot one. Maybe you forgot a few more, but Jameis Winston.
I didn't forget him.
Fitzpatrick.
Sorry. No disrespect to Jameis. So who's the best quarterback, the best pure quarterback you played with? And you don't have to cape up for your buddy, just pure quarterback you played with.
Oh, that's a great question, man. I played with Nick Foles was in there, too. I forgot about Nick Foles.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl. I got to give him a shout.
But the best quarterback, I don't know. My favorite, how about I just say my favorite? Because I know you said Buddy Up, but my favorite was Michael Vick.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Growing up, I looked up to Michael Vick, man. He's changed the game. He's changed the era. I had the most fun with Michael Vick. I feel like, McNabb, when I first came into the league, we made some great plays, some deep touchdowns. But I don't know, in 2011, 2012 and 2013, man, those 2-3 years with Michael Vick, I think, the deep plays, to start off the game in Washington, 80-yard bomb first play, Dallas. I mean, I could go on and on the throws that Michael Vick threw to me. So I think I had the most fun playing with Michael Vick.
I'll never forget, I walked into Fox one day, and on the dressing room, downstairs, it said Michael Vick, Jason McIntyre, and I was like, what? Oh, my God. It was so, I walk in, I was like a little nervous.
For sure.
I was a huge Vick fan growing up,
Definitely.
So let me ask, I also think your punt return against the Giants is one of the coolest plays I've ever seen to win the game at the buzzer. Where are you on the Giants? You hate them, right?
It's not necessarily me hating the Giants. I think the Giants hate me. I mean, everywhere I go, like, if you're a Giants fan, don't let me be in New York. They like, man, they can't stand me. For me personally, man, I definitely hated playing the Cowboys more than the Giants. I mean, in the NFC East, I mean, obviously, we have rivals, the Commanders, which they wasn't that name when I was playing. You have them, then you have, not Chicago, I'm sorry. You have the Giants and then Dallas. I mean, I had more heated games with the Cowboys than anybody. So, I mean, I think when we played the Washington team, too, LaRon Landry, we got in the heat. I don't know if you remember that.
He was jacked, right?
Before the game, he said some, I ain't going to say on TV. He said he said some crazy things to me, before that game, and it was, like, very personal. I was like, man, you really going to say that? So we didn't have some heated moments versus the Commanders.
Wait, did you even know him?
Nah, we personally didn't know each other. I mean, I played against him a lot, but I never, personally had a relationship with him. So when he said what he said before that game, I almost was ready to take off my uniform and throw them things.
So he was like, don't come across the middle, because he was a hard hitter, right?
Yeah, he was definitely a hard hitter. But, I mean, one thing about LaRon, he played, some great years in Washington. Obviously, he played at LSU. So he's come from that culture and that nature that they're physical, hard-hitting. But it's like within the game, it's like, don't get too disrespectful. And I think the comment he said to me before the game was a little too disrespectful.
Okay. Let me ask this. I opened the show talking about Lamar Jackson and how, listen, man, I get it. Small sample size, 6 playoff games. He's been kind of bad in the playoffs. The numbers say so.
For sure.
But, nobody's asking him the tough questions. And I got to ask you this. Why isn't Lamar Jackson winning in the playoffs?
That's the tough question DeSean Jackson got to answer, huh?
Yeah, you got to answer.
Honestly, I personally know Lamar, and one thing I can say about him, he's very personal. I mean, I think he has the edge to win. I mean, I think he wants to win. I know how hard he works as far as putting it in on the field. And a lot of people he's misunderstood. And I feel like throughout my career, I was misunderstood a lot as well, too. People don't really understand you because, the way he was raised and the way he grew up. But at the end of the day, he plays backyard football. I mean, he might not be all the, read the right reads and make the right throws. But when it comes down to it and the game's on the line, I feel like besides the playoffs, he's, 2-3 in the playoffs. He hasn't really quite managed that in the playoffs yet. But he's still young. He's 27. I mean, he's still, he's going on his 7th, 8th year in the league. So I think, give him a little more time. He don't got that much more time, but just give him a little more time. But I just think, man, just go out there and play freely, Lamar. I mean, I got a great relationship with you, man. I know how much you want to win. I know how much you want to bring a championship to Baltimore, and it's deserving. Yeah. So I just think at the end of the day, the pressure, pressure busts pipes, man.
But you say play freely, and that Cam Newton, my guy, who we have.
No, that's not your guy.
Whatever. He played freely, and he's injuries caught up with him by 32. He's out of the league.
Right.
And when you're Lamar, 27, he's turning 28 in January. It's how many more years does he, like Josh Allen's taking a lot of hits. He's starting to pull it back.
Definitely.
It's just, I wonder, these running quarterbacks, you play with a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. Some of these hits they take, they're not built like to.
Yeah, one thing I would say, Lamar Jackson, I don't really think he takes a lot of hits. And the reason why I say that, because, I play with Michael Vick, and me and Shady and Jerry Macklin, we used to always tell Mike, like, bro, you got to learn how to slide. Like, Vic cannot slide. We was at practice, and I played baseball growing up, so we used to try to teach him how to slide. He couldn't slide to save his life. One thing I would say about Lamar knows how to, like, not take a hit. And it was mind-boggling to me, because I'm like, wow, like, I was watching him play. I played the whole year with him, and he just really wouldn't take a hit. And the game he got hurt, when he hurt his knee, it was actually off of a sack.
That's right.
And his knee kind of got, like, caught in a weird way. But as far as, I don't think he's injury prone. Like, he's suffered a few injuries, but at the end of the day, he does know how to not take a hit. So with these other guys, you're talking about Cam Newton and all these other guys, they're bigger and, that was their structure of play. But Lamar, he doesn't want to get hit. And, like, a lot of times he doesn't get hit. So I think he has the edge on not getting hit and, being able to stay healthy.
Let me go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was critical of Mike Tomlin, and they're Steelers fans. They're passionate and they're upset.
Sure.
But
yeah.
DeSean, this is an offensive league now. And the Steelers have spending a ton of money on defense. Right. They're the oldest defense.
You said the offense elite?
I don't think it's elite.
I thought you said they were elite.
Well, the defense has been good, but in the playoffs...
No, I thought you said the offense was elite.
Oh, hell no. Well, sorry, that was harsh. By the way, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, who you got at quarterback for them?
Man, honestly... I like Russell Wilson. I think the past few years has been a struggle. He's kind of on a decline a little bit. But, just with that offense, I think you got to go young. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I know he's a defensive guy, but you have to go with the morale of the team, and the morale of the team is young. And I just think I'm going to build young, because at the end of the day, if I start Russell Wilson, and don't get me wrong, I like Russell Wilson, but if you start him and then now you have the locker room, it's like you can't go back to, like, going back to Russell. If you put Fields in, it's like now I can build my team around the youth and the young, and we can add pieces to the puzzle. So I feel like just coming out the gates, if you're going to go with Russell, you can't bring him back in if you go to Fields, and then what, you're going to put Russell back in? So start youth. I like the youth, man. Let's build around Fields. 25, 26, what is he, 26? He's young
super
still.
young. But so why go? It's weird. They went after Russ early.
I get it. Yeah.
And then Fields was out there, and they're like, oh, we'll take him too?
Yeah, see, it's almost like, it's that old saying, like, you always want that girl, right? And then you get that girl, and then, dang, the girl that I really wanted was in a relationship, and now she's single. So I really didn't want her. Right. I just got her because that was what was out there. So the one I really wanted is single now. So I'm already, hey, you know what, babe? Things ain't working. I'm going to go get the other one. So I think it was just like a marriage that almost just wasn't quite ready at the time. Yeah.
I know you obviously have a budding media career. Have you ever thought about going into coaching or front office or scouting, any of that? Does that appeal to you at all?
Man, I'm just living life. I'm blessed, man. I'm having some great opportunities to, put my face out here and just kind of give a critique about the game. I feel like I know the game pretty well and played at a high level. So from my perspective, man, I love ball, and I just want to give my insight on it. But coaching is definitely a vision of mine. The time right now, I'm fresh. 2 years, it's my second year out. So to go coach in college or the NFL right now is not what I want to do. I want my time. But I'm actually coaching high school football in Long Beach right now, too. So it's kind of fun. I'm offensive coordinator. So first game is tomorrow, man. I'm going to go out there and call some plays.
I got to ask, what's like the offensive philosophy? Are you guys air raid?
Great question. So, I kind of implemented like the old Andy Reid with Marty Morningwig to a little bit of McVay. Ooh. I got, it's a pro style, open spread. But, one thing about me, I'm a passing, I'm a receiver, right? So I'm big on passing, but I'm implementing the run, man. A lot of guys wouldn't know that I'm implementing the run. DeSean Jackson implementing the run.
So pass first. That's where the NFL is. That's where football is, right?
It is.
Okay. So what do you make of like the Ravens going after Derrick Henry?
I love it.
Oh, come on. Really?
Honestly, you got to think the Ravens style of football is run first. I looked at it last year, right? In 2023, they was 13-3, right? They did amazing during the regular season. What did they do when they got to the AFC title game? They went away from everything. They was averaging, I think, 32 to 35 rushes per game. And then you get to the playoff game versus a guy like Patrick Mahomes, and you want Lamar Jackson to outthrow Patrick Mahomes? That just doesn't make sense. So for me, I love the addition of Derrick Henry. When they had Greg Roman all these years, they was a run-first offense. And now you have, Xavier Flowers. You have guys like that. Bateman is my boy.
Bateman's your guy?
I love Bateman, man.
So what's going on with him? He's like, I don't want to say hot seat, but like this is a prove-it year, right?
Injuries haunted him a little bit in his career. I mean, I think he's definitely a guy that when he's healthy, he'll do great. And, I just think this year is a make or break year for him. But, man, my boy Nelly, I actually heard it was an article that I read that Nelly, Lamar Jackson, went off on him like twice in one day because he dropped some long passes. I'm like, man, Nelly hands it's my dog, but sometimes his hands ain't as sure as they should be. But I think the Ravens, obviously after last year, think they got to come back this year. They got to go to the Super Bowl this year, man. They have to.
Dude, bro, they lost 3 offensive linemen.
I mean, I understand that, but you bring Derrick Henry in there. I mean, you have come on, Derrick Henry, the Russian king.
You still feeling Derrick Henry? He had a rough year last year. A lot of tread on those tires.
In Tennessee, you see A.J. Brown wanted to get out of here.
Yes.
I mean, that's tanking down.
I feel like you're plugged in with a lot of the players. Is
sure.
That a fair
they tell me stuff that you might not know. They might not.
Okay. This is why we got you on here. Let me take a shot here. What's going on with the Raiders and Pierce and Adams? Are we going to see Davante Adams ask for a trade anytime soon?
Man, I think he'll sit put this year. I think this year is a huge year. I mean, you got Gardner Minshew that's actually been named the starter quarterback. This year is going to be tough. I think they don't have the quarterback that they want. I know they wanted to get a quarterback in that draft, and they couldn't get their guy. So obviously it kind of defaulted to who they have. Mm-hmm. This one's tough because me and Davante, we've talked and
man,
I hate to do it because I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, DJax said this and said that. But at the end of the day, he is unhappy. I mean, you go from Aaron Rodgers, then you come to the
Jimmy
Las
G.
Vegas Raiders. And now not only Jimmy G, you had your boy Carr.
That's right, Carr.
It didn't really work out. That you thought from the Fresno State days,
right.
You think they would come back and work everything out, and it's just it just quite didn't work out. So now I just don't think he's really that happy there. So this year, I mean, where are you gonna get your production from? Are you believing in Gardner like that?
Not really, but let's say they're 2-6. Do you think he says, guys, come on, we're going nowhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw the deuces, man. I got to get out of here. And one thing about him, man, Davante is really a nice guy. And when I say a nice guy, he doesn't want to be all in the media going crazy and stuff like that. But you can see sometimes in them games, he's getting very frustrated.
Yeah.
It's hard for a top receiver and a guy that's proven like that to sit there and just not express yourself. So I think this year, like you said, if they go 2-6, it's going to be some steam coming out over there.
Let's see if we can ruffle any more feathers. Well, what's going on? What's the latest with CeeDee Lamb? Are you texting him? Man,
yeah, CeeDee, man. He one thing I say about CeeDee, he working his butt off right now. He working his tail off, and it's deserving. Why not pay CeeDee, man?
What's going on there?
Jerry, I don't understand. I think Jerry's just trying to play hard right now because, it's Jerry's world. So at the end of the day, without your boy CeeDee there, without 88 there, Dak, I'm sorry, man. I know you want the contract, and I know it's deserving. But I mean, Dak, if you go get paid right now, if I'm Dak, I'm like, you know what? Take care of my boy first. We'll figure out me after that. Because if Dak go get paid right now, CeeDee's not in the building. Who are we? Brandon Cooks, You've been a baller. You've done some great things. You got Turpin. You got a few other. Who are we? Zeke Elliott? Are we just going to hand it to Zeke Elliott? I mean, come on, Ferguson. I mean, you got the tight end, but I mean, I'm just like, what are we going to do here?
It doesn't look good for Dallas. I guess let's stick with the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. They're great at the number 1 receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. After that, I like Josh Reynolds,
Reynolds pretty good.
He had a tough drop against the Niners. They don't really have a 2. Is there a world where they are looking good? Let's go all in. Let's trade for Davante Adams. Let's give up a future one. They're close, man.
Good prediction right there. I mean, if it's possible, I don't know what their draft picks looks like or what their financially situation looks like. But I mean, if you could pull that off, I mean that makes them, because I mean they was in the NFC Championship game last year. I think that makes them. I mean, they're still a Super Bowl contender, I would think. I think that would put them over the edge if they were to pull off that move right there. So I mean. That's bold. I didn't think of that one. That was bold.
Here's another one. So again, you are inside the locker. You know all this stuff.
Right.
So I bet on the Niners a lot last year. They won me a lot of money.
Yeah.
When they come out of the tunnel before games, it's Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel leading the way, dancing, getting everybody hyped. Chase Young was in there. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
I see all this talk to Sean. Oh, well, Deebo Samuel's expendable. I don't know, man. If he's the alpha in that locker room with Trent Williams, how can you part with him? And tell me, your experiences in Philly, who's leading out of the tunnel, and is there something to that's like the alpha in the locker room?
Yeah, I definitely like that point on that. I mean, as far as the alpha in the locker room, I would definitely say it's Deebo and it's Trent Williams. I think they're their relationship is definitely, they hang out in the off season. They're chilling. They're taking trips. They're on a private jets together. They spend a lot of time together. So I think without Trent being there right now, Debo's like, man, my boy's not here. So, some insights on Trent Williams. I've been talking to him a little bit too. I think they're going to figure it out and get him in that building, man, because, without your left tackle, man, it's going to be hard for
Is he just taking a little extended break here?
Man, see, one thing you got to think, Trent Williams been here before. He held out a whole season before.
But is he working out or is he sitting on the couch eating Cheetos?
No, trust me. Trent Williams, he's a freak of nature. And I think at the end of the day, man, he just wants another 2 to 3 years, man. He wants to lock it up. He wants to just go be the best he can be, man. He's played a lot. He's been through a lot in his career, with the surgery and things like that. So I definitely think it'll work out. But going back to the question, I think Debo, he's your guy. Even though people say Brandon Aiyuk is the true number 1 wide receiver, I just think the gadgets and just, everything Debo brings to that team, he just makes that team special. Without Debo in that locker room, like if you don't have Debo and you just have Brandon Aiyuk, I'm not saying they're not as good, but it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think they all stay together, man. Just Brandon Aiyuk, I don't know, man. Just go play out that $11 million they gave you and just figure it out after that. Bet on yourself almost. You know what I'm saying?
They're telling me we got to wrap up. But because you went to Cal, and I'm a Jets fan, I was born in New York, I got to ask about Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Rod, what, you going to ask if should he play in the last preseason game?
Well, no. I'm not asking
that. All right, I was about to say, come on, Jay.
First of all, do you know him at all? And I don't know, this whole, he's into conspiracy theories, and he's like, let's keep everything football, and then goes on all these podcasts and talk politics. Yeah. I'm just curious, were you ever in a locker room where there was some leader, and he was just talking about a lot of non-football stuff, and you were just like, I can't vibe with this guy? How does that work? I'm just trying to get in the Jets locker room and understand what's happening there.
Yeah, I think their relationship with the head coach Saleh that relationship is a little shaky. Honestly, I don't really see them really merging together. I know Saleh's having a lot of pressure from the owners and the general managers to get their starting quarterback out there playing. But at the end of the day, this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Aaron Rodgers that we've known to see, I think he'll be that this year for that team. And I know the pressures. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2010. We get it. He has a lot of pressure. Rodgers-Saleh has a lot of pressure from the head of the organization. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers will be the guy we know him to be this year. And I feel like I'm a bet on him. If I got any money, I'm a bet on Aaron Rodgers this year. When he's 40, 41, I'm betting on Aaron Rodgers. So the Jets, y'all stay calm. Y'all stay patient. It's going to work out. We don't need to see Aaron Rodgers in the last preseason game.
I know he's
look, hold on. Robert, just focus on defense. Let A-Rod focus on offense.
Ooh. So I know you're a new TV guy, obviously, right? You played in the league recently.
Yeah.
But these insights, this is some of the top-level stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
You said the word shaky. A quarterback and head coach shaky? A coach on the hot seat? Quarterback coming off the...
Why do you call out your quarterback? You find him already. You did everything. At the end of the day, do you really think Aaron Rodgers didn't tell him that he was going to miss the mandatory camp? Like, you just think he blew it off and said, you know what, Robert, I don't respect you enough. I'm not even going to tell you that I'm about to miss mandatory camps. So I feel like you got to protect your guy. Why not go in the media and protect him? We talked about it. Aaron said he couldn't be here. He had personal, whatever the case may be. But I just... it's mind-bothering because I know Andy Reid, I know Sean McVay, I know a lot of great coaches. If I go tell my coach I got something going on, regardless if you like it or you're okay with it or not, you have to give me some respect.
So why didn't he do that?
That's my point. It's shaky. Hey, man, my boy A-Rod, he going to ball this year, though, man.
DeSean Jackson, oh, my gosh, that was tremendous.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.